Hey, it's Paul from howtoplaybassdotcom. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to play the basic patterns for the chorus, stroke, intro, and the verse for Maneater by Hall And Oates. 80s classic. Bass line, the rhythm of the bass line was also used by Stevie Wonder in a tune of his called Part-Time Lover. Not that I'm a particularly great fan of that tune, but just thought I'd put that in. We're going to play along each section at the start of each segment with a MIDI file, so you can hear the line in context. It's a very straightforward line. What it really relies upon, you'll hear me reiterate this in the course of the lesson, is the rhythm of the bass line in matching the bass drum that's used in the bass drum pattern that's used throughout the tune. If you cross-reference to the original, you'll hear that pattern clearly, and that's the kind of pattern you've got to think about when you're playing the bass line. Pretty easy song. In the original, there are some variations in the verse, some little things that happen, but I'm just going to teach the basic 16-bar pattern that you'd repeat twice to get a complete verse, and the 8-bar pattern that you get to play for the chorus or the intro, and that repeats over and over again. As I said, fairly simple song, but if you're playing any kind of dance band, you might need to play this at some stage, so it's worth having in your repertoire. Before we go to look at the intro, if you're not a subscriber to my free monthly e-zine, click the link underneath the video, go to my website, go and find the subscribe page. It's entitled Free Bass Lessons. As a thank you for entrusting me with your email address, you'll get a sequence of 4 or 5 lessons, mostly videos with PDF. Plus, there's an exclusive lesson every month with video and PDF components, which is only available for subscribers. So go do that, and then come back here, and we'll go and look at Maneater, and we're going to start with the intro, and this pattern's also used for the chorus. Okay, you just heard the intro pattern, which is also the basis of the chorus as well as an 8-bar chord progression being used, being played with the MIDI file. The first thing we should do before we go note by note is just make sure we've got the rhythm right. Play it with the metronome, then we'll talk through that rhythm. 3, 4. Obviously that's played very slowly. Basically what you've got for the rhythm is you've got 3 on beats, then you're going to play on the and of 4, the and of 1, and the and of 2 of the next bar, and you've got on 2 more strikes on beats 3 and beats 4. Now this is a swing 8th note feel, so that's what gives it a slightly different feel. So it'd be 1, 2, 3, 4. That kind of rhythm, and that kind of rhythm permeates through the whole track. It's used in the verse patterns as well. There are some minor variations which we're not going to go into. I'm just going to basically give you the 2 main sections, and then if you want to put in any variations you can. So let's do it note by note. The first 2 bars we're mostly playing in B. Apart from that A, we've got a B. B's we're playing at the 7th fret of the E string, so B, 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 A, B, B. We've got an A there, which is on the and of beat 2, or the swing and of beat 2. That's the 5th fret of the E string. Then the next 2 bars are in A, and we're playing that rhythm that we just talked through, and just playing on A. Then we're down to G at the 3rd fret of the E string. We've got a little F sharp there on the and of beat 2, or the swing and of beat 2, so it's G, 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 F sharp, G, G. That F sharp is the 2nd fret, of course, of the E string, and then we're back up to A. and we've got A, B, C sharp. B is the 7th fret of the E string, A is the 5th fret of course, C sharp's the 4th fret of the A string. So that's the intro pattern and the chorus. Very straightforward once you've got that rhythm mastered. Play through it. You've got the playthrough at the start of this segment of the lesson with the MIDI file, so you can kind of hear it in context with some chords coming in as well. Notice when you do go back and listen to the play along with the MIDI file, that the bass part, the rhythm of the bass part, is identical to the bass drum rhythm in the track, and that's, if you're struggling to count it from what I just said, then go to the track and listen to the bass drum part, and sing it out to yourself if you need to. Dum 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 dum, and imagine the bass pedal playing, and that's what you've got to match. Imagine that you're stood next to the drummer and you're watching his bass pedal, so he'd be here because his bass pedal's usually his left foot, so you'd be stood next to him watching his bass pedal, and you're aiming with this rhythm to match what he's playing on the bass pedal. So that's the intro section, which is also used for the chorus, as I said. Go and look at the second section of the tune, which is the verse. Okay, you just heard a basic playthrough of the first half of the verse, which is a 16-bar pattern. Again, it's pretty much built on the rhythm that we looked at, which is dum 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 dum, that kind of rhythm. Obviously, the notes you've obviously heard that the notes changed. So let's walk through it bar by bar and get through the notes. The first 8 bars are pretty much based on a descending sequence in 2-bar patterns of D to C sharp to C natural to B, and then it goes down, and then the second 8 bars start on an E chord. So the first 2 bars, you've got D, 5th fret of the A string, and it's all D apart from on that and of beat 2 of the second bar, which is an open A string. And you find this pattern repeating with the other bars as well. So you've got D, 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 A, D, D, then we go down to C sharp at the 4th fret. And you've got the same thing, you've got C sharps all the way through apart from that A on the swung and beat of beat 2. So C, 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 A, C, C. They're all C sharps. I couldn't sing C sharp while I was playing it. Then we go down in the next 2 bars to C natural, the 3rd fret of the A string. So again identical, C, 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 A, C, C. And then we go down, and in the last 2 bars where we go down to B, it does change slightly. We get, so you've got B, 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 A, G, F sharp. So B, 2nd fret of the A string, A is the open A string, G is the 3rd fret of the E string, F sharp's the 2nd fret of the E string. Now the one thing you've got to watch, you go down on those 2 A's, is a bit of left hand muting because they don't last the full duration. So you've got, so you'll have noticed my left hand coming in and muting those A's. Excuse me, before we get down to the G's, do that again. Okay, so that's the first 8 bars. The second 8 bars starts with, goes down to the open E string. That's the first 2 bars of the second 8 bars, so bars 9 and 10 I guess. You've got 4 open E's, and again you've got this left hand muting, because you've got those open E's don't sound like that. Then you've got 2 F sharps, a G and a C sharp. So 2 F sharps, 2nd fret of the E string, G is the 3rd fret of the E string, C sharp's the 4th fret of the A string. So that 2 bars. And again, just to reiterate, watch the muting on those open E's. The next bar, next 2 bars goes from A to A sharp, open A, 1st fret. You've got so 3 open A's. Notice being muted again with the left hand, and then you're up to A sharp, and then the last 4 bars are B, so in the last bar you're going down to the open A string, but otherwise you're just playing B in those last 4 bars. So that's pretty much the verse pattern. There are a few variations through the song, but if you just play that plus the intro pattern that I showed you for the chorus, that'll get you through the song, and you'll sound pretty authentic. It's a pretty simple song, but the interesting thing is the rhythm, and when you're thinking of the rhythm, think of that bass drum and matching that bass drum, and also, as well as playing the note where the bass drum is, try and match the duration of the bass drum as well. So you're getting those notes short and clipped. That's what kind of drives the song. As I said, it's a pretty straightforward song, but if you're playing any kind of working band where you're doing stuff for dancing and stuff, you may be asked to play this from time to time. So this lesson will help you get through that if that's the case.